Hi, I'm going to start out quiet because this video is going up on my YouTube channel intro, which auto plays on my main page, and it's really upsetting for those people if it's really, really loud. So I have just reached 10,000 subscribers. No big musical instruments. I can play my lips, so Yankee, Doodle, dandy. When buying a mic, you want something that'll pick up you playing your lips. And be careful because you can often pick up your reflection in lenses, so don't wear glasses. Thank you. So 10,000 subscribers in my first 10 months as an active YouTuber. I'm going to talk about that today. Actively publishing on my channel really began in April 2024 with Doctor Who 338 second series and the Always Sunny in Philadelphia 200-second series, which goes out still every Sunday. And what I did to prepare for that was I've been running a Patreon account for about 8 years because I've been a fairly active comic book artist, publisher, journalist, maker of podcasters, writing novels. So I had so much creativity to share in terms of product and a small fan base which helps me pay for drinks at the bar. I don't drink, so that's pretty easy. So by publishing the 200-second Sunny series to Patreon, that allowed me to build up a bit of a backlog for when I released those publicly. And the activity was also planned to go with the new series of Doctor Who. So I could publish the 4 specials in the months lead up to that new series airing and then put out new reviews as they came, maybe a day or two early to Patreon before premiering on YouTube. It's important to upload on a regular schedule. Of far greater importance is not to burn out. I upload a 3.5-minute video on Sundays and a longer piece on Wednesdays, 10 to 30 minutes. And I had clear influences on what I was doing. Inspirations, the 200-second Sunny initially started coming from the 2-minute Peep Show series by another YouTuber called Andree. And with the Doctor Who series, I kind of found I was learning from the Adam and Joe series, which aired on Channel 4 in the 1990s. But pretty much a massive inspiration, although I didn't realize it at the time, was Charlie Brooker with his various Screen Wipe, Weekly Wipe, News Wipe series. That sort of organic, innovative, funny filmmaking. I didn't want to just do a review because at a point those become less useful. I wanted to put out a bit of entertainment, some funny, innovative ways of looking at things, playing with props, going on adventures. And if you look through those videos, you can see me taking off to City Hall to film the Regency episode, or dressing up with a baby's bottle and dummy for Space Babies. Filming the Christmas Time Hotel episode at IKEA was another identity similar kind of theme thing. And these, along with my Star Wars Ahsoka videos, are very much designed for fans who aren't fans, people that aren't full on in with the chase everything Doctor Who, chase everything Star Wars mentality, people who can take it or leave it, and just to give them something fun. And quite frankly, Doctor Who fandom is, by and large, on YouTube, not very nice. There's some beautiful exceptions, but there's a lot of very ugly people on there. Anyway, fuck him. One of the first problems I had was being pushed into moving into a new home, a big house, going from a 1-bedroom flat and having very little furnishings. So I was having to get the acoustics all in order and maybe a bit of set design too. And I didn't have a lot of money, but there's things that you can do to improve that. I mean, the set's looking quite nice today, but for a lot of while, I haven't been overly careful about like big logos and poster prints and plastic print shop paraphernalia. I just want to look okay, give it that sort of organic bed sit kind of feel. And you can see here I've like pinned duvet sheets to the walls because my mother's forever handing me duvet sheets, and they're all around this wall too. And that's just to insulate the room and cut down on some of the echo. It cannot be done very cheaply. And if you're committed to innovation in your videos, to putting in soul and creativity, and you have high standards for the content that you make, then that's not really a problem, because this is all just, well, that's not money. And that's kind of a bit, looks nice for me, but you can't really see it. And that's not money. It's about a different type of currency. This sort of organic, small, threadbare set seems to be working for a lot of YouTubers recently. There's a recent video by YouTuber Marcus Jones talking about how there's a sort of organic kind of interest there rather than big flashy sets and screens like Mr. Beast. I think what Jones is hinting at is that he's talking about a more sort of punk way of making YouTube where you just use what you have. And now that I think about it, one of my favourite Doctor Who YouTubers, Davis, and his Broke Canon series, well, the only time he's ever on camera is shots of him lying in bed, the lazy cat. And Skip Intro, who makes wonderful propaganda video essays, generally tends to sit there in a lounger, albeit with a couple of post-it notes in the background, which are really quite cool. Smooth Lester Freeman. So for anybody who wants to get into the video editing game, I thought I'd talk a bit about the materials that I use, the tools. I don't go with Premiere, Adobe, Photoshop, illustration package thing. I keep it nice and simple. I use Shotcut, a fantastic open source video editor. There's a little bit of a learning curve on it, but it's not too steep. And for the basics that I use, Cut, multi-track for audio, video, it's fairly simple. You need a decent graphics card to run it, a bit of memory, but it's pretty much straight ahead. They've made some significant developments with the software over the few years I've been playing with it, and there's a wonderful online help community with videos and forums for anything you need to get into that. And for audio editing only, Audacity has long been the benchmark of free open source software that does a really good job and is much easier to learn. My microphone here is, I'm not quite sure, it's a Trust USB mic. It's made of plastic. It looks like it cost about £10, but maybe about 20. I've had it for like 6 years, and you can probably get a fairly decent mic, fairly decent mic for about 20 quid. You can go and get a big snowball or something a bit more looming for 60 to 100, but why bother? Give that money to charity instead. And for camera, I just use my laptop's built-in webcam. I've experimented with USB cams, clip-on cams before, but they tend to be more expensive for less quality. Sometimes stuff just doesn't work, and you shouldn't have to reap the cost of some other manufacturer's mistakes. Because I don't trust the camera application on my Microsoft 10 or 11 or whatever it's called now, I record via Zoom. And this is just because I've been gifted a Zoom Pro package by one of my patrons. Thank you very much, Ian Lawther. Still very grateful. So I just log into Zoom and I record from there. And this is the way that I make all the video shots that you'll see now. And my podcast, I've Never Read Discworld, which I co-host with PJ Hart. You'll give that a look if you're into Terry Pratchett's Discworld. It's a phenomenal journey we're on over that one. This is actually the quality of my built-in camera recording through Windows, so I don't know if it's much different. You see a code on the back of the door there, actually quite good for insulating noise. But I just use a camera phone for these location shots. And this little tripod slash selfie stick that I picked up from B&M for about a tenner. Ooh, look at me. Ooh. And it never hurts to have a sprinkling of cute little gerbils to show off in front of the camera for extra likes. Go and dance for me, you little bastards, dance! Yeah, bring me that dollar dollar. I'll talk more about the dollar dollar in a bit, but first I should talk about where I source my video clips. And in a perfect world, it would be DVD rips, but I have to admit that piracy actually plays a big part in it. Or let's talk about the edges of piracy. So YouTube clips, a lot of people will put up YouTube clips from a TV show along with the always authentic copyright disclaimer, I do not own anything. I admire their communist stance and wish their poverty would go away. So I've got a tool I use called 4K Video Downloader, which will let you download stuff from YouTube for free. You can use the Premiere version, which I think is about £25 for a lifetime membership. It can be a bit glitchy now and again, but lately there's also been a re-emergence of download in browser websites for this purpose. They disappeared. There was a drain on those about 4 years ago, but they're slowly coming back. There's a few good ones you can find. I also use archive.org, which has had a weird sort of prevalence of copyrighted material, but I do like whole shows to work from. And copyright material usage isn't actually an infringement of copyright if you're using it within fair use clauses. That's for commentary, review, education. So what I try to do is cut my clips to under 10 seconds. I think 12 seconds is kind of the cutoff. The problem with using copyrighted material for fair use is that there's a number of bad actors in terms of copyright holders who will trigger copyright claims based probably on artificial intelligence scanning material. BBC Studios is particularly predatory. You talk to anybody who makes a Doctor Who video, and they will tell you they throw on a claim on any given opportunity. I've been very lucky on the 338 Seconds series. However, for my Press Gang series, when I was compiling actor and director biographies, BBC would lynch on a very short video clip that I'd used to demonstrate their work skills. Universal Studios have always been the same, checking out my Serenity Firefly video. Older material, such as my use of the ITV archive, seems not to have been a problem. Copyright claims themselves aren't so much a problem. That's to be expected, that's entitlement. The problem comes when a copyright claim blocks a video worldwide. And so I want to talk about how to get around that. Typically, a claim will come in for 13, 17 seconds upwards of material. So at that point, you have to go into YouTube, find the spot where you can appeal the claim, write a little justification for doing so. I'm going to put one of mine on the screen now so that you can see what that looks like, and then fire it off. And if you followed the law on fair usage, citing education, entertainment, you'll find that within 3 or 4 days, the copyright dispute has been upheld, which sounds really bad. But actually, what that message means is that your video is now cleared for global viewing. The second way to respond to these is by going in and editing your video either within YouTube's own content dashboard or taking it down, doing that, re-uploading it. And you can do things like trim out the content altogether if you can afford that. You can blur the image. You can
try and get around the AI by playing at a different speed,
changing the size, position, and rotation, maybe reverse it. But that's a fair amount of bother, so only do that if you really have to. I also often use screen caps of video, which is a good way to get around copyright predators, and similarly still images from promotional material. And I tend to set these at 2457 by 1383, and they tend to be best for a full sort of widescreen 16 by 9 resolution view. So when I'm cutting my clips, what I do is I number them and I name them. Naming technique comes from a key word or phrase in the script. Most of my videos are fairly tightly scripted, this one being an exception somewhat. And my go-to for helping me get all the words out in fluent order is qprompter.com, which is not only free, but doesn't require any kind of login. I really recommend it highly. When you're looking at making thumbnails for your videos, you want 1280 by 720. Slap some text on as good. YouTube also has a nice little feature where thumbnails are concerned where you can test and compare. So you can create 2 thumbnails, upload them both. I think it's 3 or 4 thumbnails actually. Upload those, see which performs best. And this is quite useful for like ongoing analytics, but also it gives you a bit of options as to the different ways that people will see your video. However, a number of other sites such as Instagram to push your thumbnail will want a square image. So check that to 600 by 600. Let's talk promotions. A year ago, my YouTube channel was at 60 subscribers, and today, nicer. The key here is not just to make good content and not just to make great content regularly, but to get it seen, but to, there's no easy way of saying this, sink money into it. And I'm not talking about Russian content farming, artificial intelligence, sock puppet palaver. I'm talking about YouTube promotions. Now, if you go into the content tab and look at a promotion, you get 2 choices, video views and video engagement. And for subscribers, you always want to click video engagement. Views is nice and certainly racks up more substantially than engagement. Engagement will get you subs, will get you comments. I'm not quite sure how the magic works, but it's legit and it does. Occasionally a video will get turned down for shocking and offensive content or interference with elections. And I've had both these promotions turned down through no breach of mine. I think I called Trump an asshole once. Fuck, do I have to edit that out? The algorithm that picks up on these breaches is really quite flawed, quite tacky, and although there is a means to appeal it, it's labyrinthian. I've never figured out. So if your YouTube promotion is disapproved for some stuff or other, suck it up. You've really, if you've got a means to address, to redress that, please share it in the comments. I'd like to hear about it. My audience would. When you start taking out YouTube promotions, another thing will happen. You will get an email or maybe probably a phone call from the people at Google Ads. Now, Google Ads and YouTube promotion are one and the same, but not quite one and the same. The folks at Google Ads are keen to talk you into running your YouTube promotions through them because it allows for better search engine optimization, targeting your audience, more options. And although they're working from a script, they generally give good advice, they will do a Google Meet with you and have a chat with you, and I feel it's really helpful. However, don't be suckered in. And I'm going to explain why. If your key is YouTube channel growth to the point where YouTube will monetize you, then the purchases that you make through Google Ads do not count towards that growth, whereas the purchases you make with YouTube promotions do. You're best to run a promotion for a minimum of 14 days. It'll tell you it'll be most successful if you spend £175 on, but nonsense. You can stick a fiver down, a tenner, and still get a couple of thousand views or I don't know, 50, 100 engagements over that period of time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. There's a YouTuber called Marcus Jones who has a lot of really good stuff on exploiting YouTube promotions and the algorithm. And I really recommend if you're interested in this stuff, go over to his channel and watch a few videos. I'll leave a link in the description as I'm doing with any YouTuber that I mention. To earn ad revenue from YouTube is an insanely high bar. So you need 100 subscribers, which once you sink a bit of money into the promotion actually isn't a big deal. I got mine fairly quickly. I'd say, well, under 20 quid. The big problem is public watch hours. I think it's 3,000, 4,000. In 10 months of doing this at 10k subscribers, I am on about 450 public watch hours. So here's the thing. Those only count if somebody is actually logged into YouTube watching your video. And there are a massive number of people who don't do that. I suspect that's to avoid cookies and tracking by advertisers. It certainly seem to be a lot less adverts when you don't log in. You can also boost your viewing figures quite a bit with YouTube Shorts, which I don't actually do, and that's my bad. There's a YouTube Shorts top line that you can reach. It will also be an alternative to those public watch hours. And it's something I hope to make use of soon because it will drive traffic to my longer form videos. So I do want to generate an income from YouTube because frankly I deserve it. And I'm not prepared to wait for YouTube's monetized channels and the various adjustments I have to make once I do get monetized. Thank you very much, Always Sunny in Philadelphia, with your shocking and offensive humor. As a creator, I'm always plugging myself, plugging my stuff. A guy as active as me probably should be. But what I found early in my career as a creator was one of the most useful things, instead of talking about myself all the frickin' time, was to talk about other people and talk about the comics and the media I love. And there's a lot of great creators on YouTube, which I really dig. Everybody loves Legal Eagle. I mentioned before Sam Davis, who makes Doctor Who videos, which are fan films for non-fans in his Broke Canon series, which are like completely welcoming and oh, so much joyous fun. I've gotten really into the UK politics community. There's so many talented individuals there, from Helena No Justice MTG, who's probably the smartest political commentator on YouTube. I want her brilliant. And her often co-host, Kevin Logan, who is probably the crudest man on YouTube and makes me laugh about things that I really shouldn't laugh about. Kevin is also politically adept. Maximilian Robespierre for a good left-leaning, pragmatic thinking guy. Does commentary on Northern Ireland like no one else. Again, pragmatic, sensible, and fantastic. Regan Elite does nightly readings of the news for those who find reading difficult and fosters a really good community on Discord. Daily Blase, who is just a gorgeous gentleman. He's like, you know, you walk into a pub and you meet a really nice bloke who'll sit and have a good chat about you and you can reel against the world. And he's got a very good sense of humor. One of the highlights at the moment is his Friday Frolics live stream on a Friday, funnily enough, at 5 p.m. UK time. And there's a really sort of warm community gathering around that. So I'd give that a shot. Big Mad Studios is Sunday Roast, and the two Davies. Davy McGuinness is a wonderfully scripting, researching, ranty individual. I do watch some reaction videos. I'm kind of hit or miss. I've got a love-hate relationship with reactors that is probably best put in another video. But if you want something that has real heart and real character in it, I strongly recommend Cinebinge, which has reaction that's kind of full of character, and commentary, which is also full of character. So I guess it's time to talk about what I'm going to do on the YouTube channel in 2025, because it's my video. So I haven't reached that YouTube monetization and I can just go around that. And having reached the 10k thing, I'm going to reach out to a few sponsors because I would like to pay some bills. I deserve to. The amount of work that I put in, the quality of it, I am worth it. I'll be resurrecting my old Drunlick podcast series, a series of audio essays. I'm making them up for video. So in the next couple of weeks, a two-part piece on Angel with lawyers and horror and crime fighting. I'll be doing a three-part series on FX's Shield, co-hosted by Ian Lawther. I'll probably be returning to more Press Gang pretty soon, some Doctor Who. My brother and I are going to do a series of videos on Babylon 5's Crusade, which neither of us have seen before, despite being big Babylon 5 brothers. And I'll also be doing more talking head stuff like this, like my interest in oddities in historical, political crime and corruption, and the many skills I've picked up at my 50 years of age as a cartoonist of 25 years, as a self-publisher. I want to try and export a bit of knowledge from those areas to pad out the time, keep that weekly thing going. Oh, and I've also got a really fantastic video coming up about the 23rd of February on the making of the Always Sunny musical, The Nightman Cometh. I put a fair bit of research into that, and I'm really proud with what I've done. So I think that's everything. Thank you so much for watching through this part. Thank you for your celebrations on my reaching 10,000 subscribers. If there's something I'd really like you to do apart from keeping watching, subscribing, like, comment, share, blah, blah, that annoying animation somewhere, comment. I don't get anywhere near enough comments. I'd really like some comments in the comments section, and I will comment on your comments. Or if it's really weird, I'll just like back off and kind of leave it until I can process what the hell you're talking about. Yeah, so next video is Always Sunny Season 4, Episode 11. And remember, over on Patreon, things preview at least a few weeks in advance in most cases. So you can sign up there at patreon.com/Andrew Luke. You can get that for as little as £1 a month. And that's an all access, all areas. And I'd like to say thank you very much to all my subscribers whose names are now appearing on screen, particularly Ian Lawther, Arsalan Haider Ali, and Artemiy Kondratiev. Oh, and you should always plug stuff when making a YouTube video as well. So my new novel, Coastlines After Dark, which has a Garth Marenghi kind of feel, go and order a sample for free off Amazon if you'd like to try the delicious wares. And Another Time by my dear late friend Holly Miles. And this was a year-long editing project by myself and some of Holly's mutual friends, and it explores abortion rights in Ireland from a young person's perspective, and it's a beautifully written story. Thank you all for making it this far. Here's some more Gerbils footage. You're naked on the internet. Look, your little baby. Hello. Hello. Yes, people want to see your cute little babies, not you, naked. Your bits all spread, yes.